All right, let's talk about freight brokerage. Success in this game isn't just about finding a truck for a load. It's really about mastering the people. We're going to break down who's who in the supply chain, and trust me, getting this right isn't just nice to know. It's absolutely crucial if you want to survive and actually make money. So let's dive in.
Okay, let me ask you something. What do you think is the biggest risk in this business? Damaged freight, maybe? A late truck? Nope, you'd be wrong. The real danger, the thing that will absolutely sink your career before it even starts, is way simpler. It's not knowing who you're actually dealing with and what their role is. That's it. That's the killer.
And that brings us right to what I call the career-ending mistake. Seriously, this is a big one, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the cargo itself. So many beginners get totally bogged down in the paperwork, the software, all that stuff, but that's not why they fail. The number one reason new brokers wash out is because they fundamentally misunderstand who the players are. You can have every single form filled out perfectly, but if you don't know who's responsible for what, oh man, you are just setting yourself up for failure.
And listen, the consequences here are no joke. When you get the roles mixed up, guess what happens? You end up taking the blame for problems that had nothing to do with you. You end up paying for them. Your credibility, gone. And those relationships you desperately need to build, yeah, you'll burn those bridges to the ground. It's a fast track to disaster. So how do we avoid that disaster? Simple. We get to know the key players, the architects of transit. Let's meet the team.
First up, you've got the shipper. This is ground zero, right? This is where the whole thing starts. The shipper is the one who owns the stuff or is in charge of getting it sent out. So we're talking about manufacturers, big distributors, importers, you name it, they have something they need to move, simple as that.
Okay, so the shipper is the one who kicks the whole thing off. They decide what's moving, where it's going, and when it needs to be there. But here's the thing you have to remember as a broker. The shipper is your client. They are your paycheck, but they're also your biggest source of pressure. It's a real double-edged sword, and managing their expectations, that's like half the job right there.
All right, next up is the carrier. Now, these are the folks who do the heavy lifting. Literally, they're the boots on the ground or, the wheels on the asphalt. This could be a giant trucking company or just a single owner-operator. They're the ones who actually move the freight.
Now, this is maybe the most important thing to get straight. As a broker, you hire the carrier. You do not control them. Let me say that again. You hire them, you don't control them. They're their own business. They're responsible for their own truck, their own driver, their own safety, all the legal stuff. Your job is to pick a good one, not to be their boss.
And that, of course, brings us to you, the broker. So where do you fit in? Well, you're the linchpin. You're the matchmaker. You're the one connecting the shipper who has the freight with the carrier who has the truck. And the key thing here is you manage the whole process without ever physically touching the goods.
So let's make this crystal clear. You are an intermediary, a coordinator, a risk manager. You are not the owner of the freight. You are not the truck driver. You never have physical possession. Why is this so important? Because understanding this bright, clear line is exactly what protects you, both legally and financially. It's your shield.
And last but not least, we have the consignee. This is the end of the line, the final destination. It's whoever's receiving the freight. Could be a big box retailer, a huge warehouse, or even the final customer. They're the ones signing for the delivery, the final piece of this whole puzzle.
Okay, lean in for this one, because this is where things can really go sideways. The consignee has a ton of influence. They control the delivery appointment. They control how fast, or slow, the truck gets unloaded. All that stuff about detention fees, delays, even some damage claims, a lot of the time the problem starts right here, at the receiving dock. It's not always the carrier's fault.
All right, so we've met the players. Now let's look at the playbook, the shipment blueprint. When everything goes smoothly, it's actually pretty straightforward.
Look how clean this is. Step 1, the shipper needs something moved. Step 2, you, the broker, find a truck. Step 3, the carrier hauls the load. And step 4, the consignee accepts it. Boom, 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 boom. Looks simple, right?
Well, yeah. Simple is the key word. The problems start when those neat little lines get all blurry, when communication just stops, when someone drops the ball, or when expectations weren't set clearly from the get-go. Your entire job as a pro is to keep those lines from getting crossed and to keep everyone talking.
So let's put this all into practice. Let's play a little game that every single broker has to play, whether they like it or not. It's called the blame game.
Picture this. Your carrier, they nailed it, showed up for delivery right on time. But the consignee's dock is a total mess, and they make your driver wait for hours and hours. Now your phone rings. It's the shipper, and they are not happy. They want to know why there's a delay, and they're demanding you cut the rate.
So what do? Who's at fault here? Is it the carrier, who's now going to be late for his next load? Is it the shipper, whose customer is waiting? Or is it the consignee who actually caused the whole mess? The clock is ticking. What's your move?
And this moment right here is what separates the amateurs from the pros. The beginner, they panic. They throw their carrier under the bus, wrecking that relationship. They probably eat the cost just to get the shipper off the phone. But the professional, they know exactly who is responsible, the consignee. They calmly explain the situation, manage everyone's expectations, and protect their carrier, their client, and their own reputation.
This is the whole point, really. It's about leveling up. You want to move past just booking loads and truly become a problem manager. Because once you truly master these roles, it's like having a superpower. Seriously, you can communicate with total clarity. You can put responsibility exactly where it belongs. And you start seeing problems before they happen, reducing risk for everyone involved. That, right there, is the difference between making a living and just getting by.
So if you only remember one thing today, make it this. It's not about how many people you know. It's not about the size of your Rolodex. Freight brokerage is about knowing who does what. That's the secret sauce. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What do you want to be? Are you just a load booker, someone who just reacts to fires all day? Or are you going to step up and become a problem manager, a real architect who builds better, smarter, and way more profitable supply chains? It's really up to you.